All right, last week was a huge week for combat sports. We had fights all over the globe. We had Francis Ngannou getting knocked out cold against Anthony Joshua. UFC 299, one of the best UFC events that we've ever seen. Maybe a bit of recency bias there, right? But certainly, what a main card. Unbelievable action from start to finish. And action all over the globe, as I said. The most excitement that we saw all week and in recent memory, one of the best fights that you will ever see, is Dustin the Diamond Poirier versus France's own Benoit Saint-Denis. My God, what a fight, okay? We got to put some respect on Dustin Poirier's name. Listen, he's already respected. He was the former interim champion, okay? He's a fan favorite. He's beaten Conor McGregor twice in a row. Always shows up, fight of the year contenders with Michael Chandler. But going up against Benoit Saint-Denis, a man that was ranked number 12, when Dustin was ranked number 3, he didn't really need to do that. But just like Justin Gaethje did, the human highlight reel against Rafael Fiziev, he had to defend his place. He had to give one of the young, up-and-coming contenders a shot. So that's what he did against Benoit, a man that had won 5 in a row, a man that was finishing everybody, and a guy that was the favorite with the bookies. A lot of people were thinking, Dustin Poirier just got knocked out against Justin Gaethje. He hasn't got it anymore, okay? He's made too much money. He's sleeping in silk sheets. The hot sauce sales are flying, okay? Hot sauce all over the place. He doesn't need the dough. He doesn't need to fight.
The fight that he took tonight with Benoit, I mean, everybody, when the talk first started, and everybody was like, ooh, this is a bad fight for Poirier, blah, 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 blah. And then Poirier came out and said, you know what, I didn't die, and all this other. That makes you a legend. These are legendary fights. When you go in and you face a guy who is a savage and you know, looks like you can't win this fight, or people think you can't win this fight, and then you go in and do it.
The man's over 35 years old. Maybe the beginning of the end is upon us. Well, he just got rid of that narrative. He put bed to that chapter. He shut up all the critics because he has still got it. Because that fight, the moment the referee said fight, that is what they did. Benoit Saint-Denis got right in his face. And let me tell you, if you're in the corner of Dustin Poirier, you were very, very nervous because he was getting the shit kicked out of him. Let's be honest. Benoit Saint-Denis was kind of ragdolling him, shooting in double leg takedowns, getting the double leg takedowns, getting the tie clinch, just bossing him around, kneeing him in the face, elbowing him in the face, just pushing the pace relentlessly, going for it, okay? But when you're pushing the pace and when you're being aggressive, you still got to be defensively sound. That's where Benoit Saint-Denis went wrong. He forgot about the defense. He was too focused on being a killer. He was too focused on finishing the fight. He forgot to defend himself. Even when he was going for the double leg takedowns, remember, Dustin Poirier went for the guillotine not once, twice, 3 times, about 5, 6 times he went for it. DC said it's even his favorite submission. And John Anik pointed out he's never won a fight by submission. What DC probably meant was in the gym, he goes for the guillotine all the time. And he was right to go for the guillotine because Benoit was so focused on getting the takedown, he wasn't protecting the neck. He was so focused on getting the knockout, he wasn't protecting the chin, okay? As I said, you got to be defensively sound when you're being offensively.
He was physically strong, but I thought technically, I know he comes from a judo background, I thought his hips and his grip strength was going to be better against the fence. I took myself down every time, you know. When I was on the mat, it was because I jumped guillotines. And you miss all the ones you don't jump, first of all. But I thought he was going to be a little bit tougher with the takedowns against the fence.
Were the guillotines part of the plan, or just you?
No, everyone told me not to jump the guillotine. Mike Brown told me 100 times this week. Gamrot told me bunch of times in the locker room at weigh-ins, don't, you know, it was part of my plan, not the coaches. And I'll jump another one, I promise you.
Dustin gets his ass kicked, takes a licking, keeps on ticking, right? He bloody was getting kneed, he was getting elbowed, he was getting taken down, he had his back taken, he was getting punched in the face. But he never stopped. He never stopped believing, okay? He didn't close his eyes and just swing. No, that was technical stuff, okay? I mean, Dustin had some big, big moments, even in round 1 when he was getting forced back against the fence, when he was kind of getting dominated. Boom! Showed that one-punch power that he had, landed that nice little uppercut. That dropped Benoit Saint-Denis to one knee for a second, okay? But it was still really bad for Dustin Poirier. The visual of it, if you were watching that fight, you were like, oh my God, this is going to be stopped. I was watching it thinking, there's still 3 minutes left in round 1 and Dustin Poirier has been beaten to a pulp, but he was still standing, he was still fighting, and more importantly, he was still thinking. That's what you've got to do. right? That is why Benoit Saint-Denis will learn from this fight. When he watches that fight back, there's a lot to be positive about, but there's also a lot of mistakes that he made. As I said, not being defensively sound, being a little too reckless, just pushing the pace with reckless abandon, right? You've got to think, you've got to slow it down in your mind, and you've got to look at the threat that's coming. You've got to keep your hands up, you've got to tuck your chin, you've got to stop the takedowns, you've got to land some shots when they see them, but you've got to be cool, calm, and collected. You've got to be composed in there. And that's what paid off for Dustin Poirier. When he was taken down, he stayed calm. When he had his back taken, he was calm. Even on the feet, under pressure, eating knees to the face, he stayed calm. He did all the right things. And when the time was right for him to finish and get the revenge, me. What a right hand, okay? Finished him, dropped him, folded him, finished the fight, and reminded the world that Dustin the Diamond Poirier is still one of the very best lightweights on the planet. So, as you saw on the thumbnail, and as I said earlier, I believe that Dustin should fight Islam Makhachev next. And I know a lot of people are going to go, hold on a minute, what are you talking about? Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan is going down at UFC 300. Yes, they are. They're fighting each other, and that's a phenomenal fight. And sure, of course, whoever wins that fight deserves a shot at Islam. But so does Dustin Poirier. Dustin's ranked number 3. Justin Gaethje is ranked number 2. Justin Gaethje on UFC 300 is fighting Max Holloway. A great fight, a fight that will add to the legacy of Justin Gaethje if he wins, but a fight that isn't really the most relevant when it comes to 155. But of course, in terms of body of work for Justin Gaethje, it's another tick in the box, it's another tick in the win column, and it's another sensational victory if he wins. It's not a guarantee, let's remember. But for Dustin Poirier, Dana always says, let's see how these fights play out. Because if somebody goes out there and gets a big victory, sets the arena on fire the way that Dustin did, that can put you at the front of the line. And right now, I'm telling you, there will be a lot of demand for Dustin Poirier to fight Islam Makhachev. In fact, I think Ali Abdelaziz, the manager of Islam, said, listen, we will fight you next.
Islam and June. Huh? Fight Islam and June. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm sure that if you're Islam Makhachev and you watch that fight, that kind of challenge excites you. And of course, as champion, he gets a cut of the pay-per-view. So, of course, people want to see Dustin. That was one of the best fights we've ever seen in the UFC. Edge of your seat stuff. Even though we had Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou, a great night of fights, and well done once again to Anthony Joshua, and commiseration to the Predator Francis Ngannou. You will be back, brother, and I look forward to watching you. UFC 299 had some amazing moments from start to finish, but that was the best fight that we have seen in the UFC recently. I am telling you, that was pure violence from the get-go. And I say that makes him jump to the front of the queue, right? Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan, they can be next. Justin Gaethje, he's also there, okay? Maybe the winner of Oliveira and Tsarukyan fights Justin Gaethje, but I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised, okay? This is me just sitting here in my YouTube studio at my house. I haven't spoken to anyone at the UFC. I didn't work UFC 299. I have no inside info, but don't be surprised if they make that fight because Dustin Poirier deserves it. And at his age, he's running out of opportunities. Remember, the man's 35 years old. Remember the curse of the over 35ers.
All this talk about the over 35 curse, it's nonsense. So I've let the Sportsbet crew in.
Shoes off.
To prove I'm just as youthful as these whippersnappers.
Like wish. Nah, I'm good.
The old man bulk, that rang true. Did not ring true this time. Although it did kind of look like it for a second. I'm telling you, Dustin has got some goddamn chin. Fair play to him. Islam Makhachev, though, just like Khabib, might go out there, ragdolling, take him down and win by rear naked choke, exactly like Khabib Nurmagomedov did. But I'm telling you, I would like to see Dustin go for it. I think given the body of work, given what he's given what he's done in mixed martial arts, the massive victories over Conor McGregor, the Good Fight Foundation, all that he does to give back to his community of Louisiana and helping out poor underprivileged kids and stuff, he deserves it. The win over Saint-Denis, the win over Michael Chandler, the 2 wins over Conor McGregor. Okay, yeah, he lost to Charles, and yes, he lost to Justin Gaethje. But there's no question about it. The fire still burns with a passion in the heart of Dustin Poirier. Give the man a title shot. Take my money. Can't wait to see that one go down one day. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell. See you soon.